What are some good internet rabbit holes to fall into during this time of quarantine? I've been getting into reading about quantum mechanics. I figure if the quarantine lasts a year or two I still won't understand any of it. One professor at my uni said, if someone tells you that they understand quantum mechanics, they don't. He was quoting Richard Feynman. If you think you understand quantum mechanics, you don't understand quantum mechanics. TV tropes. You'll suddenly start to refer scenes in movies as wow what a tearjerker, and your whole family will hate you. But God, is that website so fun to lurk. It's a terrible website. I hate it that I love it. Seriously. As rabbit holes go, this is one of the best. On YouTube, I have been viewing this channel named Horror Stories. It's a collection of short but brief real-life horror stories of people who died in the most horrible, unimaginable, and unsuspecting way. No clickbaits. On-point storytelling. Mr. Nightmare is also pretty good at real-life scary stories. He has a great voice for telling scary stories and makes good use of stock images and stock video to create atmospheric visuals. Maybe you could find out what's on the second page of Google. There's a second page. It's known as the dark web. That's where the hacker 4chan resides. Chris Chan. A Comprehensive History. Edit. Guys, this blew up, holy shit. Shout out to Geno Samuel 2.1 for making a killer series. Another good one is Jason Geneva and the Del Rey Misfits. Jason Geneva is kinda like the bodybuilding Chris Chan. The Del Rey Misfits is more general, and Jason is a recurring character in a wide and vast array of people who are all a little off that work out at the same gym, monsieur. The Titanic didn't really sink. Instead, the Olympic did in an insurance scam. ETA. I don't actually believe this. It's just one hell of a theory to read. This is the best conspiracy theory I have ever heard. My saved posts on Reddit, take the time to go back through them and act in some way that reflects why you saved the post in the first place. Science channels. From entertaining to informative, science channels have been my favorite types of channels to binge. Vsauce is one of the best at this. Backyard Scientist, Mark Rober, and Slow Mo Guys, to name a few. And if you're up to a mental challenge, go for really heady, concept theory-laden channels like PBS Spacetime and Quantum Gravity Research. Kurzgesagt is also very good. So go to Wikipedia and pick a country and look at a history of their leaders. Can be interesting to see a list of them and the politics behind it, especially African countries. 'Cause they're wild how often they switch and for why. You could always play the Hitler game. Hit a random page on Wikipedia. You have 5 pages to find Hitler. Try researching the DuPont family. Not the medical field, innovative part, but the fucked up evil incest haunted house parts. It's hard to find info because billionaires control everything, but it's there. Link? If you're into music, there are a ton of great channels on YouTube. Rick Beato does a lot of music and song analyses. Alex Ball has done some documentaries about Roland and the Prophet synthesizers. All really interesting history and information. True Cuckoo is a dude who has a ton of videos about synthesizers, drum machines and jams, not to mention tutorials. There's so much that you can learn. I started with guitar and recently I got into synths and drum machines, and YouTube is a great place to get to learn from plenty of talented people. I missed a ton, but I guess you can do the exploring yourself. SCP and Warhammer 40k, Emperor Text-to-Speech. Greeting Custodes, how are you this day? I got introduced to the SCP Foundation almost a year ago and I'm still stuck in that rabbit hole. Someone in another thread recommended the YouTube channel Geography Now. I have been binge watching it for the past week. Really entertaining way to learn about all the countries in the world. John Titor. In early 2000s, someone began posting on several message boards claiming to be a military time traveler from the year 2036. He arrived in 2000 on a stopover for personal reasons. His primary mission was to return to 1975 to recover an IBM 5100 computer which was needed to debug huge computer issues that would arise in his original time. Some have disregarded this as an elaborate hoax. The rub is, there is an anticipated Y2K-style computer frying event. Look up Unix 2038 problem. And only like 5 people in the world knew the IBM 5100 debugging programming existed, which was later confirmed to be true by someone involved with the project. His stories contain predictions from his timeline, time travel theory, physics of his machine, and even schematics of the time travel device. All his posts are archived. Enjoy your trip down the rabbit hole. The Civil War in the United States will start in 2004. I would describe it as having a Waco-type event every month that steadily gets worse. The conflict will consume everyone in the U.S. by 2012 and end in 2015 with a very short WWIII. Damn. He called it exactly. Oh, that's why Tighter sounds so familiar. They used this story in the anime, Steins Gate. One of my favorite things to do is look around on Google Earth at an area you never plan on traveling to. Zoom way in, and learn about the small villages, communities, cities that live on completely different continents, or tiny islands in the middle of nowhere. It's seriously insane how humans are willing to live anywhere. The SCP universe. That's not just a rabbit hole, it's a black hole. Modern Russian history. Start reading about Rasputin and then go from there. Good stuff. Gels marble runs. Watch the Marble Olympics. Our transcribers of Reddit is a pretty good way to kill some time by writing transcriptions for people who are vision impaired. How to grow mushrooms. Not magic mushrooms. PLS don't ask, it gets annoying. And the different techniques people use for different species. Also, the rabbit hole of how many chemical products we harvest from fungi. It just sounds stupid to believe in the power of fungus because there's a fine line between it and all the essential oil homeopathic bullshit and cure-all products being marketed by MLMs and Facebook. Anti-vax moms. Been looking at growing mushrooms. Instantly everyone asked me if I was growing magic ones, and it's definitely super annoying. Mushrooms look really interesting to grow. Oh, give lucid dreaming a shot. Just hearing people talk about it like on our lucid dreaming is an acid trip. Honestly though, lucid dreaming is worth the effort. Isn't this where you start by waking up and immediately writing down everything you remember her about the dream? That's asking a lot from me when I just woke up. Well, annoying to start. That is a solid approach, and seemingly the best approach to a more rich, mindful dream life generally. There is also wake, back to bed, WBTB technique, where you deliberately wake up for a bit in the early morning and hope to lucid dream afterward. Some people even grab coffee or something before returning to sleep, with attendant risks. If you have trouble sleeping or are naturally wakeful, then it can happen automatically. It's where you dream and are aware of it while it is happening. It can allow you to control your dreams. It helped me conquer a chronic and reoccurring nightmare. True crime. Something about murderers and serial killers are terribly addictive to learn about. The ethics issues of persecuting a mentally ill person, minor as well as the eventual rehabilitation, and whether they should ever be released. A truly fascinating field. Only downside is that I can't talk about these with people I know IRL. Can't imagine telling anyone, oh, my hobby, I like murders. Quote, say forensic science or approach and it sounds better, not the same thing but sounds better. LMAO, a few years ago I couldn't sleep and fell into an oyster shucking rabbit hole, and it was a live stream of this lady shucking for pearls with different colors. Kinda like an unboxing video, but I needed to know what kind of pearls would emerge. Honestly, I just like looking up random shit and people I hear about from TV shows, Reddit etc. on Wikipedia and digging through connected articles. Like I looked up Kenny Rogers and after a few links ended up on Shel Silverstein's page where I learned he wrote Johnny Cash's A Boy Named Sue novels. Get off my lawn and go read a book. I've personally gained a big interest in sea shanties. Try learning some music. Web serial novels. There's lots of good ones available for free. I haven't read too many, but I can personally recommend Worm and the Practical Guide to Evil. Greater than Worm. Gonna need a longer pandemic. I once saw someone on Reddit boast they read it in a week. I suspect they may have been fibbing. Did you know that we are actually a hybrid slave race forged by aliens to mine precious metals to repair the atmosphere of their home planet, and the Great Flood was them trying to wash us off the planet because they starting falling in love with us? True story. Now you don't have to watch weeks of movies about the Anunnaki. My ex started going on about Anunnaki after a mental breakdown and became obsessed with conspiracy theories. If I have to hear the words Anunnaki or dimensions one more time, I fear my brain might literally melt out of my skull just to avoid the conversation. Anunnaki. Inescapable porn addiction. Look up conspiracy theories, spooky stories, and mysteries on YouTube. Top 5s, bedtime stories, and lazy masquerade are all really good. And also paranoia-inducing. Oh, and also cold case detective. Start with one of these and go to the next recommended video. In addition to the rabbit hole, you'll learn about YouTube's algorithm. Monsieur Scooby-Doo. I'm watching all of the seasons and different versions of it. The Torah is quite the rabbit hole. My girlfriend and I watched every single Eurovision music video from the last 5 years over the course of 3 days. Time well spent. I never knew how amazing the whole competition is. It's like blank Got Talent on steroids. Bon appetit. I would die for Claire from Bon Appetit Test Kitchen. She has the strange ability to look like she's in her 20s or in her 50s depending on how her hair is in the episode. She has found a way to make a living baking gourmet junk food, DIYing solutions and waxing nostalgic about the 90s. She is Reddit's perfect woman and I too would take a bullet for her. Brad Leone is my favorite. You spelled Bon Appetit wrong. Experimental hip-hop, Japanese city pop and other genres of music mostly confined to the internet. In the West at least, city pop is still a thing in Japan. I love reading any article related to astronomy or the universe. Kurzgesagt is a cool channel. North American dashcam videos. I'm no expert, but I thought Russian dashcams were the pinnacle. No? There's only so many times you can watch a beat-up Lada Riva driven at 90 miles per hour in the middle of a city by Gopnik's T-bone into a Lada Samara, burst into flames, but everyone just walks away as if it was nothing. American dash cams are good viewing because shit goes from 0 to 60 real quick. One small thing and people go off in a rage. British, European dash cams rarely escalate beyond someone calling someone cutting them off as a wanker, or a tiny crash. In Soviet Russia the cam dashes you. Reading court opinions from insert your state here. Court of Appeals. I've learned so much about the legal system. Precedents and proceedings. Police interrogation. Search and seizures and lots of other things. I've also learned there are some seriously messed up people, more than I could have imagined. Sounds like law school. I'm out. Looking at what your symptoms are if you get sick is the worst rabbit hole. Cicada 3301. Boy, I've been reading so much Harry Potter fan fic. This writer named Northumbrian created a whole and canon expanded universe for decades after Deathly Hallows, and it's been a blast reading his stuff. Edit. A word. Pedogate. Do some digging and you'll see that all the crazy conspiracy theorists who have been calling the elites satanic pedophiles have been right all along. Greater than satanic. They're not satanic, dude. They're billionaires and politicians who fuck kids because they're a bunch of out of control, overstimulated hedonists who have built their wealth on the exploitation and outright slavery and Murder of hundreds of millions of people. They have no limits, morally or legally. If rape is about power, then it's clear that they're just addicted to power. Their place in society warps them into absolute monsters. This isn't new information. This is as old as class war. This Occam's razor. People obsessed with power exercise their power over others, some of them in the form of child abuse. This is absolutely abhorrent behavior, but not new, not linked to any satanic cults, and not any more complicated than some people are fucked up beyond moral bounds. Just reading the Podesta emails from WikiLeaks convinced me. You and me both. Then, that stuff about handkerchiefs and there will be kids in the pool emails. It's pretty cut and dry to me. Did you see the thing about the other Podesta brother and the missing kid in South America? Where the police sketches look like the Podesta brothers. Did you see where John Podesta has a sculpture that is of one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims? Also all the paintings of little kids in compromising positions they have in their home. The Dahmer statue is fucked. It's a shame the media took it literally and focused on one pizza shop that was conveniently targeted when that place had nothing to do with any of the leaked DNC emails. Now, if you ever talk Pizzagate, others will think you're over the moon crazy even though they haven't read a word of the leaks. Maybe because CNN told them it was illegal to read them. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.